get shining.
Your crystals and incense, we're going new age with a psychic.
You seem to be very positively focused.
Some body-mind alternatives and a cosmic artist.
I get my inspiration from the masters, Spacky, alfalfa, and buckwheat.
It's XYZ, Thursday at 8:30.
Next on Mystery.
I don't want that.
Z, what is new age?
New age is anything that is from now forward.
We'll explore the powers of the body and the mind. Yoga, massage, and psychic power. A cosmic artist and a critic of the men's movement.
What men really need to do is connect with women.
Hi there, and welcome to XYZ, Examine Your Zip Code. This week we have a New Age show for you, so get out your crystals and your incense burners, because we're at Concentric's New Age shop in Lancaster. We're also going to predict the future. We're going to meet an artist who works for peace through art with a very cosmic twist. We're going to meet an author of a new book critiquing the men's movement, and much, much more, so stick around. But first, we're going to talk to New Age Nancy, who works here at Concentric's. Nancy, what do I have here?
You have Chinese exercise balls.
They're very fun.
Aren't they wonderful?
What are they all about?
Well, the meaning for those is to exercise your hands, to stretch your fingers, to get everything moving. And they're also used for meditation because they're bells in the inside. And if you can get them going fast enough, moving around fast enough, the bells will sing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What is Concentric's?
Concentric's is an emporium of fine arts. It's also a space where people can relax and people can meet other people and network and find themselves in a place where the cares of the world are outside.
Well, what kind of people do you get to come in here?
Every age group, from young teenagers to the elderly. I have some customers that are in their 90s.
And what are they looking for?
And they're looking for incenses. Some of them are looking to perfume their home. Others are looking for it as ceremonial objects. Candles, crystals, jewelry, books.
How did you get this started here?
I started the shop here out of my background as a psychotherapist, and I needed to go on to a different job, and I wanted to contain things in my shop that dealt with self-development, creativity, spirituality, and provide an atmosphere where people could feel accepted, respected, and could find beautiful things.
You mentioned crystals. What is the healing power of crystals?
Healing power, there's the cadre, a belief that crystals are healing devices. The quartz crystal, for example, is a stone of balance. Rose quartz is a stone of love. Malachite is a stone to take away negativity. So each of the different stones have different meanings and attached to different parts of the bodies.
Right, now tarot, the black arts and things like that. So there's sometimes there's some negativity attached to that sort of thing.
And people seem to look at that, if they're negative toward it, as being paganistic and as fortune-telling. People who use the tarot deck use it as guides. Most of them do not use it as predictive, but they look at it as a guide for things that they're working through. And for the challenge of reading the cards sometimes.
What's your favorite thing in the store?
I have a background as a musician from a long time ago, so music is really my favorite thing, and it keeps me very mellow.
Well, speaking of mellow, we're now going to engage our body and our minds in the art of yoga.
Now is it my body? Something I might be.
Well, I'm fairly new to yoga. This is only my second class, so I'm hoping for good results.
I've done yoga for about 15 years now. It's so relaxing. It's a pretty active world out there.
I do the chiming at the beginning, and that's the signal for everyone to release any other distracting thoughts or conversation. This practice I'm calling mindful yoga, and it's a blend of hatha yoga, which is the physical movement yoga, with mindfulness meditation.
She teaches by sharing and not by lecturing.
It is a meditative practice incorporating movement to fortify physical health and wellness on all levels. I have a very strong, disciplined individual practice. I had the training from Dr. John Kabbalistic, and he strongly said, no one has any business teaching mindfulness meditation unless it is their own discipline. I cannot and do not feel that I can give anyone anything from here. All I'm doing is suggesting, and then it's self-discovery.
Breathing. And one day I was able to go to a voice class right after this, and it was like a whole different person was singing.
I had gone in for an allergy shot, and I had to blow into the tube, which I had to do last year. And this year, when I did it, I said, wait a minute, let me get this big breath before I start. I put the tube up, and I went, and it was 20 points higher.
It's both calming and energizing.
It's part of an overall health maintenance program.
I started taking it because I wanted to have more joint flexibility, and it helps with that almost immediately. I just think it's a very sane way of living.
And we've got time to find out who I really am, yeah.
This is a non-striving activity. It's non-goal oriented, actually. And the deeper process is the mental, emotional process.
I don't get frazzled.
Many people have health and physical limitations, and they're encouraged to adapt at any point in time or not to do anything if they feel it's not right for them. Namaste. Namaste. Bring that inner yogic smile to an outer yogic smile. This is much more a practice where one becomes in tune with themselves, a respect for themselves at wherever they are, because that's where they are, and it's okay.
All right, we're at Concentric's New Age shop in Lancaster. We're here talking with New Age Nancy, who owns the shop. How did Concentric's get its name?
Concentrics means everything coming from a common center, and it really is reflective of my belief system, that everything comes from a common point, and that's how the name came into being. The symbol that we use is the lotus, and when one puts up their hand that's stretched out and open, and you take a Carillion photography of that hand, it is absolutely the form of a lotus. So they're the two symbols that I chose to use for this shop.
I noticed the shop has a lot of oils and candles for aromatherapy. What is aromatherapy?
Aromatherapy is using scents in order to cleanse your body, to make yourself feel more energetic and healthful. And it's an age-old herbal remedy type of thing that has enjoyed an increase in a wave of popularity.
I noticed the artwork here is really interesting.
That one's done by Dave Porter.
Dave Porter?
Hi, I'm Dave Porter. I'm getting ready to do a new painting with the help of my dog Jack here. I have 10 balls numbered 1 to 10, representing the 10 planets, the 10 fingers, and the 10 commandments. And Jack here is going to give me a little help. Ready, Jack? Kabbalah, Kabbalah. Go get him. Jack, what number do you get? Number 8, Mercury. Number 8 represents the planet Mercury, which is the messenger of the gods. And it also rules over animals. This is the Kabbalah, or Tree of Life, which is a mystical method of interpreting scriptures to penetrate sacred mysteries. It also incorporates ideologies like astrology and numerology, to name a few. It's not just for one religion, but it brings them all together. I also get my inspiration from the masters. We have Tarzan, the king of the jungle. Seek the king in his strength and seek his face forevermore. Kabbalah is also made up of triangles, as you can see, made up of threes. We have three stooges.
Who you hitting? Oh, be quiet.
Einstein said, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. Jimi Hendrix. With the power of soul, anything is possible. With the power of you, anything you want to do.
With the power of soul, anything is possible. With the power of you, anything you want to do.
My new series consists of 184 paintings representing each country in the United Nations. The project is called Peace Through Art and is now being considered by the United Nations for a world tour in 1995. An old master once told me, a true artist can show you the future or how the future can be. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fulfill an ancient prophecy from the Bible, which says, the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Each one of these paintings represents a leaf from the tree of life. These represent the birth charts of nations of every country. Here's the United States, July 4th, 1776. We have the sun in Cancer. The sun is represented by yellow, and Cancer is represented by violet and shades of purple. So I started painting with those colors. Okay, we have the moon in Aquarius. The moon is also violet, and Aquarius is different shades of like dark green and blues.
When the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Here's the United States, which really turned out weird. After I got it done, somebody said, hey, it's an Indian. And I said, well, it is. It's a side profile of an Indian. Here's his eye, here's his chin. So this probably means, like, the soul of America belongs to the Indians. Jimi Hendrix, November 27th, 1942, Seattle, Washington. His sun, Sagittarius, 4 degrees. Mercury, 2 degrees Sagittarius. He also had a lot of cancer. That's not why he died. He overdosed, I think. This represents the soul of Jimi Hendrix here. It kind of looks like a horse if you look real close. He's flying away on his horse, the spirit of Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix owned this years ago, and it was, came out, he burned it, but we brought it back to life. Every one of my paintings consists of 1,000 prayers. You can look at one of my paintings and you don't have to go to church. Each color represents one of God's angels. And they're very powerful, very. More than just a toy for nervous fingers, these represent the Kabbalah, the 10 planets and numerology system based on tens. You can also use these, pick lottery numbers. I spent many of these. I had to repaint them a lot. People say, man, why do you paint your money? Sound weird.
Mystic crystal revelation and the mind's true liberation.
It's like looking into the future, too. I can pick out a date in my calendar here and see where the planets are going to be and make a picture of the future. You know, I project the future into my paintings. And I do that with people, too. I can show you, I can do a painting of your future. If you'd like to see your future, give me a call sometime and I'll paint your future.
What's your sign?
My sign is Pisces. Libra.
Aries.
I'm Sagittarius.
I'm a Leo. Capricorn.
Cancer. Taurus. The bull.
We won't leave until you tell us your sign.
Virgo.
My sign? I'm a Taurus.
Stop.
What is my what?
Weight limit 2 tons.
I'm a Taurus. It's Capricorn.
Capricorn?
Yeah, I just thought of it.
What's your sign?
Beavis. Leo. Pisces.
I don't want to do this.
Stop.
Next, we'll meet a woman who's good with her hands. Dana Zimmerman will rub your cares away. She has body-mind alternatives in Lemoyne.
helps relieve my stress and my tension, and I have this bad habit of talking on the phone like this, and it puts cramps in your neck, and she gets them out and helps me feel like a new person when I leave here. It's terrific. She's more than just giving you a massage, she's your friend.
Actually, that's how I first got interested in massage, was sitting at a desk all day doing telephone sales. I found that I really had stiffness in my neck, back, and shoulder areas. I had a friend who went to school for massage therapy, and I became interested in it after that, and I just took it from there. I have a certification from the New Mexico School of Natural Therapeutics in herbology. A lot of my knowledge is just extensive reading. People are trying to get back to more basics, I think. You know, they're tired of just putting chemicals into their body. Well, I have some natural therapeutic products that I sell. I keep them mostly on hand for the benefit of my clients who want alternatives to, the basic over-the-counter medications, that type of thing, if they want to try out herbal remedies or Chinese herbs or homeopathics. I have some things that are out there. Business is great. It's escalated quite a bit since I started out 2 years ago. And I have a lot of the clients that I first started out with, and I'm always picking up new ones. Now, Mark is having trouble with his left shoulder, so what I'm doing is I'm working the reflex point, which is at the base of his little toe. Ancient man always walked barefoot, so they got whatever the perfect pressure was on their feet to keep their body healthy. We do so many strange things to our feet and the shoes we wear, and feet problems could affect the rest of the body.
When I came to Dana, I walked out of here and my first thought was, God, I feel like I'm 16 again.
God, it feels so good! So good! Woo! And it feels so nice! So nice! With love comes around.
It's one of those hurt so good places.
Feels great. When I come here and get a session started, I leave feeling that something had definitely been accomplished in terms of relieving that tension and stress.
I try not to overschedule because I feel that if I'm doing too much work, I sacrifice the quality of the work. I try and keep at least an appointment or two open a day, so if there's a last-minute person that needs some help, they can come in.
Someone please explain the reason for this strange behavior in exploitation's name. We must be working for the skin trade.
So it's nice to just see the way clients react to the work and how well it affects them. I wanted to do something that was a little more helpful to people, and you know, making people feel good also makes me feel good.
Author, we found an author. I'm here with author Glenn Mazes, author of the book The Trickster, Magician, and Grieving Man, subtitled Reconnecting Men with Earth. Glenn, what's your book about?
It's a new direction for men to take, a kind of critique of the men's movement. I've been very disappointed with the men's movement, that instead of reacting negatively to feminism, we should learn from feminism, and men should take responsibility for finding a new path.
Are you perhaps referring to Robert Bly, who's a fairly well-known aggressive proponent of the men's movement?
Yeah, I'm exactly referring to Robert Bly, that you know, despite his sort of poetic presentation, he's really talking about a heroic model of the male. An Iron John says it all, a metallic version of the male that's sort of very distant from things and very well defended, and is trying to separate off. And I think that what men really need to do is connect with women, with other cultures, with other groups, with nature, with the earth itself.
When you say that men prefer to fly above the earth, what do you mean by that?
Oh, well, it's both in psychological terms and literal terms, that men try to take a safe distance from things and to soar above things where they can't be caught. I compare Bly to Desert Storm, and the idea that Desert Storm, that the Pentagon wants to have us only have air wars from now on because they're clean and we don't have to get involved in the messiness of the suffering and the pain and the killing.
Well, that's one example of modern men, but you also cite references to movies and role models in that way.
Right, like for example, Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven, which is supposed to be a critique of the gunfighter as this glorious kind of heroic figure, and he shows where actually they were usually drunk and shooting each other in the john, and it wasn't a very heroic thing. But in the end of the movie, what does he do? He ends up himself taking distance, getting drunk, not feeling what he's doing, and killing a room full of men in order to get money to help his children. But I don't think that's the way to help his children. I think he should go back and spend some time with them instead of killing 8 men to get a little extra money for them.
What about positive examples in the movies?
Oh, Robin Williams in The Fisher King, I think, is a wonderful example. He's a homeless man who has a wonderful sense of humor. He is a trickster. He is someone who has that magical sense of making connections in spite of distance.
Okay, your book is described as neither wimpy nor macho. Where is it?
I would say, yes, it's in between, but it's a very strong place to be in between.
Do you have a passage that's indicative of the book for us to... You have your own book there. Can you read for us?
Sure, I have my own copy. Well, this is at the very end of the book when I'm saying instead of the man who wants to fly off and be like the sun, which is the motto of the hero, I say that there's a dark star which both contains the darker side of existence and glows from within. We males can help the planet, as well as ourselves, by abandoning the warrior sense of masculine identity. Then we can feel with different people and cultures rather than insisting that others become the same that we are.
If you could be any tree that you wanted to be, what kind of tree would you be?
A weeping willow.
A dogwood. Cherry tree.
A giant redwood, because they're not going to cut them down.
An oak.
Big and bushy.
A mighty oak.
I would have to say a redwood, just because I'm tall and they're tall too, so.
I guess a willow tree.
Weeping willow.
That could be a tree. Tree with flowers on it.
I think I would be an oak tree.
Evergreen.
And why?
No clue.
Pine tree.
Like an oak.
A Christmas tree, because they're so cheerful and happy.
XYZ, that's examine your zip code. If you think you're interesting or you know of someone interesting in your zip code, drop us a line at XYZ, P.O. Box 2954, Harrisburg, PA, and our zip is 17105. Now I'm going to read Pete's mind. Well, that was easy. Nothing there.
Because you could look in there and foresee what's at the end of the line for them.
Welcome. My name's Michael from Divine Light Bookstore, and we're sponsoring a psychic fair today where we have 6 readers available to the public.
It's just a matter of using your science and just daring to apply it further. The first thing I do before any reading is I have to control my brain state. In our regular consciousness talking now, our brain is operating at about 24 cycles per second. To do a psychic reading, you need to slow your brain down to 14 cycles per second, and it can go as low as 7. I like to use 7. My blood pressure lower, and my brain at 7 cycles per second. And now I can look into the crystal ball. And I'm not using my physical eyes, I'm using the pineal body of my brain to receive electrical fields from the crystal ball. What I'd like to do, Jane, is I'd like you to look into the crystal ball for me. Focus right about here in the center. The other tool that we use is tarot cards, where we spread out the cards in a pattern. And each card represents an element of the past, present, or future. And this helps you focus your mind on specific issues. Now for Jane today, I'm going to be using the crystal ball combined with the cards to get lots of details and concrete information to help her make good decisions in her life. This This is very strong with healing energy, and this is clearly a question of healing in an emotional sense more than in a physical sense. Jaina, I'm seeing a focus right now on a special kind of love that is not romance. There's a lot of importance right now on your daughter. A good psychic reading should give you concrete answers and details and some really useful information. It should not be fortune-telling or something simple. Happiness is a choice that we can make. And usually when we're unhappy, it's because we're misperceiving something. And when we misperceive, we don't make the best decisions in our lives. Oftentimes when you tell a person something, the very fact that you told them can change everything in their life.
The choices that I make in the future are generally a little more directed. They're more choices. They aren't just happenstance.
The art of psychic interpretation is feeling the electrical energy with your hands and with part of your brain. Everyone has it in them to become psychic. People are always trying to tell us what our limits are, and I don't believe in limits. I believe in exploration and new discoveries.
Well, that's it for this week on XYZ. Our thanks to New Age Nancy and Concentrics. You know, for more information on anything you see on XYZ, give us a call at 236-6000, Monday through Friday during business hours. Now, next week on XYZ, country music that's not whiny, Latigo Smith. Also, Dandelion of Z107, Attack Llamas, and Studebakers. You're not going to want to miss the next XYZ.
Up next, Detective Chief Inspector Jane Tennyson gets a full confession to a brutal murder. But what is the real truth? Don't miss the final episode of Prime Suspect 2, next.